Hey everybody, it's me again. Do I have lipstick on my teeth? Hey everybody, it's me again and welcome to my next tutorial. What you're going to be seeing today is just the eyes and the lips. Also, if this tutorial seems a little bit different than things I normally do, it's because this is my submission for the NYX Face Awards! That's right, I'm going to go ahead and submit to that. So NYX, if you're watching this, hi! I decided to go ahead and do this look for you guys because I wanted to do something that isn't too extreme, that's still wearable, that, you know, anybody can do, even the beginnerest of beginners. So I decided to do a nice brown smoky eye with a deep purple lip, perfect to teach the main thing I'm going to teach you guys about today, which is blending. Blending your eyeshadow is, you know, what separates the makeup men from the makeup boys, so to speak. It's basically what's going to make you look like a freaking boss, even if you aren't a professional makeup artist. This is what's gonna make you look like one. I hope you guys learned a lot from this, and if you want to learn how to get this deep, smoky, vampy, wonderful wearable look, then keep on watching. Hey everybody, okay, let's go ahead and get started. I'm hoping this is going to be a really quick tutorial. Alright, things I've done to save a little bit of time. I've already done my eyebrows. You guys have seen me do that 101 times. You know how I do it. If you don't know how I do it, see my previous videos. And I've already primed my eyes. Again, really easy. Just use whatever eyeshadow primer you happen to have on hand. And I have primed my face as well. Step one of any kind of smoky eye look like this is you're going to want to put a base shadow all over your eye from lash line to brow bone. This is just going to make the primer that you put on your eyes a little bit less sticky, and it's going to make everything easier to blend later. And all you need for this is a flesh-toned eyeshadow, so just take whatever eyeshadow is closest to your flesh tone color. I'm just going to take that on this no-name brush, and I'm going to put that all over my eye. Okay, next step is to put down a transition shade. Now, what is a transition shade? A transition shade is basically going to aid you in transitioning from the darker colors in the look to the lighter colors in the look. Again, this is all just to make blending easier, because blending can be really tough, especially with some eyeshadows. So pretty much what I ended up doing is I took a warm kind of camel colored shadow. Looks like that. There's the swatch right there. And I'm just going to put this into the crease with a fluffy brush and just really blow that sucker out. Just put it almost up to the brow bone, but not quite. I'm going to take a flat eyeshadow brush that looks like this, and I'm going to put this color right here. So you can see that's kind of a sienna type shade. And I'm going to take that color and I'm going to pack it all over the lid, skipping the little teeny tiny part in the inner corner because we're going to put a highlight shade there in a minute. But I'm just going to put this shadow all over the lid, blending up into that transition color. So now we're going to take a darker shade, this color. So slightly darker than our lid color, but not by too much. And we're going to take the other side of that flat brush and we're just going to pat it in that color, and we're going to put it on the outer corner of our eye, kind of pressing up into the outer crease a little bit, but not too much. You're focusing kind of on this outer V shape here, and we're just pressing it into the eyeball. And when you're thinking about what shape to make your eyeshadow, it really depends on your individual eye shape. What I like to do with the darker shade is I like to continue my lower lash line up in a straight line, and that's where I'm going to be putting most of my darker color, because that's going to lift my eyes and make them look a little bit more almond shaped. Now we're going to dig out our good friend again, the fluffy blending brush. No additional product on this, and we're just going to sweep this over that darker color, pulling it into the crease a little bit more and blending that outside edge out. Because this still has a little of our transition shade left on it, so it's really going to do wonders for actually blending that color. And you're just going to do this until there are no harsh edges. Now let's say you accidentally blend too much. Well, that's no big deal. There's actually really no such thing as blending too much, because you can just go back in with your dark color and just repack it. A lot of the next few steps of this look are just going to be placing and blending and placing and blending over and over and over again. And anyone who's done like oil paintings and things like that before will have done something like this. In order to create a soft gradient effect from one color into another, the easiest way to do that is to layer both colors on top of each other over and over and over again until eventually they just start to kind of meld like magic. And you can repeat these two steps basically until you're happy with how it looks. I find that with the shadows I'm using, which are pretty easy to blend on their own, it doesn't really take me that much work to blend a look out. And so after everything looks nice and even across the crease, you're gonna take back your lid color, that sienna color I mentioned earlier, and we're gonna re-establish the lid space because that darkness may have taken up a little of your lid space, so just reclaim that area a tiny bit and just keep going back over, flipping the brush to softly blend your lid color into your outer V. Oh, I almost forgot the brow bone. One last step, we're gonna take our same flesh toned color and we're just gonna pop this right above the brow bone with our fluffy blending brush. Okay. Now the inner corner highlight. I like using my finger for this because it's just easier to get into that teeny tiny little space, but what we're using is this color. You can't even really see it. There you go. Very neutral champagne tone, so I'm just gonna take that on my finger and pop it right into that inner corner, just on the very inside edge. Sometimes I will blend this out onto the lid, but this look I want to be very, very smoky. So I'm just putting that on the very inner corner and a little bit on the lower part there, just to highlight that area to make my eyes look a little bit more open. Bam! See that? Plus your fingers make for handy tools because they're free. All right, so now we're gonna work on the lower lash line. For this, all you'll need is a pencil brush. So just a brush that looks kind of like this. Any old pencil brush will do. You just need something that's very small and detail oriented so you can get exactly the right amount of product you want on your lower lash line. So we're gonna take the darkest color we used today, that little maroon shade, and we're gonna go, you see that line that we established earlier from the lower lash line up? You're just gonna follow it down and we're gonna go about halfway around the lower lash line, just up to your pupil when you're looking straight ahead, because this is pretty smoky. And feel free to blend this further down than you normally would. I think smoking out the lower lash line is pretty much the main key to creating a really, really smoky, sexy look. Like how smoky you want this to be is entirely in your control. You can blend down further or not blend down as much, and the look will change completely depending on what you do. So now we're gonna take our lid color, that sienna shade, and we're gonna put that, you guessed it, we're just gonna kind of complete the puzzle piece. We're going to put it right in the space between the inner corner highlight and the outer color. We're just gonna blend that. Now, if this gets a little bit messy, don't panic, that's perfectly okay, because we can clean this up with a makeup wipe in a little bit. Wonderful. So now comes the fun part. I'm gonna take a regular old makeup wipe, use whatever you have, baby wipes work too, and I'm just gonna clean up any fallout, any kind of excess. Like I noticed I got a little ham on my inner corner here, so I'm just gonna clean that up, tidy underneath the look, and just make sure that shape is exactly the way you want it to be. That's why this is fun, because you don't have to worry about making a big fat mess. So the liner part of this look is actually a lot easier than most of the liners I do because it's almost goof-proof. I'm going to be using a copper liner shade, and this isn't as dark so you don't have to worry about being as precise with it, which I like because my hands shake like a leaf sometimes. So we're just going to take this copper liner and we're going to put it on the upper lash line pretty far up actually, because you want it to be just barely visible through the false lashes we're going to put on in a minute. Keep your eyes open while you do this. One of the biggest tips that I've ever heard in my time doing makeup is to keep your eyes open as much as possible while you're doing your makeup, because most of the time people who are looking at your makeup are going to be seeing it when your eyes are open. how the copper liner just barely pokes through and kind of picks up the warm brown tones of the shades underneath. So now I'm going to take this copper liner again and I'm going to go on the outside of the lower lash line and lower waterline and just kind of messily scribble that in there. I'm just going to take my favorite mascara of the moment. It really doesn't matter which one you use because we're going to be putting falsies on anyway. So I'm just going to take this one and we're going to run this across the lashes, rolling under. I don't know if you guys can see exactly what I'm doing, but basically I'm putting the brush right at the very base of my lashes, turning it forward and wiggling it at the same time. And now we're gonna do falsies. Good old falsies. What you're gonna need to apply false lashes. Your main tools here are going to be a set of tweezers and some eyelash glue. Now, I like lash glues that are in kind of this tube form that have a little brush applicator because it's really easy to overload on lash glue if you're not careful. So I'm going to take my tweezers and I'm going to grab the lash right in the center, right like that, and then I'm going to put some glue on it. Not too much. Sometimes you'll have to wait for the glue to get tacky, maybe about anywhere from 10 to 30 seconds. This one dries pretty quickly, so I'm going to take my mirror and put it on the super magnification setting so I can really see my eyeball, and then I'm just going to aim as close to the lashes as possible, and then put the inner corner on and the outer corner on. So just aim further in, put the center on first, then put the inner corner in, then put the outer corner in, just kind of like tucking someone in for the night. And then the last step for putting on false lashes is to take my finger and I blink onto my finger and I hold up and, you know, kind of look like a psycho for a minute. But that's just gonna curl the fake eyelashes up a little, and that's gonna make my eyes look a lot more open. So here are the eyes done. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my face off camera, and because I'm gonna be filming another video after this, and I'll be right back. Hey you guys, I'm back again. Now the good part about the eye look I just showed you is that you can basically pair this with whatever lip you want. I'm gonna try out a dark purple lip with this. So first I'm gonna take the NYX lip liner pencil in the shade Y2K. This is a kind of like brown lip pencil almost, it's like a brownie purple. So I'm just gonna line my lips with this. There we go. Again, this doesn't have to be perfect because I'm putting a lipstick over it in a second, but I just kind of filled in the outer corners here to almost create an ombre fade. And for my lipstick, I'm using the NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in Transylvania. Now, if you've made a goof or gone outside your lip line or things have slid around a little bit, no big deal. With these lip creams, all you really have to do is take your finger and push toward the inside of your lip. Because one mistake I see people making a lot is they'll try and wipe from their lip outward and then they'll end up smudging it everywhere. If you smudge it toward your lip, it's just gonna go onto your mouth where the color already is. And if you really goofed and you want to clean up the edges, I usually recommend to do this anyway. Take your favorite concealer and a little concealer brush and just go along the edge. And that's just going to clean it up a little bit. This is the finished look. I decided to do my foundation routine in another video, which you guys are gonna see next week, but I wanted to show you the finished look. Let's do some awkward posing. Awkward posing. Looking down, looking forward, looking good. I hope you guys learned a lot from this. I hope you guys learned a little bit more about blending and how to blend, and were able to take away a nice go-to smoky look. You could soften this and use it for daytime, or you could pair it with a vampy lip and go out at night. Hit that thumbs up, it helps me out a whole lot, and I will see you guys in the next video. Toodles!